Southampton is a creative paradise filled with beautiful green spaces. It's got 2 universities and it's a hugely important shipping port. Today in this video I'm going to be going over a number of different murals, some street art in the city, as well as some quirky little relics too that you won't find anywhere else. Let's get into it. Now, this might just look like any old busy high street. However, on this scene now, as we're seeing, there is the only facade of its kind in the entire country. Do you see it? Let's take a closer look. This golden tooth outside of 56 Bedford Place is the only facade of its type in the entire country. The building it's situated on, the dentist surgery, has been there since the 1800s, really. So again, it's grade 2 listed. This golden tooth is made of solid elm wood and then painted over in 24 karat golden paint. It was actually stolen in 2003 before being returned to the dentist. Whenever there's a cruise in, it's been remarked that there's always people taking photos of it, so it is a bit of a local landmark. Next up, whilst I was walking to actually the next landmark I wanted to look at, I found this, Conduit House. It's a medieval water house that was supposed to be delivering water to the city, by the town of Southampton back there, when really what I wanted to look at was Mayflower Theatre, the largest theatre in the south coast actually, but it really does just go to show how much history is just mismatched together in Southampton. It literally is under every turn and it's beautiful. Next up, we have the Bulb. So this is a rental office space in Nelson Gate, just opposite the central station. So this is a mural very new to the city. It was only finished and designed last year, and with it, it's quite special because it uses a type of paint called Graffiti paint made from lime, which absorbs carbon dioxide as it cures, and it's estimated that in making this mural, it would be absorbing about 65 kilograms of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which isn't much, but it does help to clean up the city and make it a lot prettier. Shortly after visiting the Bulb, I then took the opportunity to walk through Blechyden Terrace gardens. So these are gardens quite special because on the precipice of it, it just looks like an ordinary park with some interesting brickwork, but it's actually the last remaining bomb site essentially of the Southampton Blitz. Southampton was especially targeted during World War II because we are the home of the Spitfire Supermarine, so Hitler really did focus on us to destroy the city, and lots of the city was flattened. But yeah, whilst there used to be for about 30 odd years after the war bomb sites everywhere, this is the last remaining bomb site of the Blitz. It's now a beautiful garden, again to remember this horrible time in history, and it's the remains of the Imperial buildings, which housed British American tobacco, and it was just situated right next to where the Southampton Central, well, you wouldn't have called it Central Station back then, back where the main train station was for the west side of Southampton at the time, was situated just a few feet across. Next up, we have a number of different plaques for Black History Month, starting with Craig David, and then a plaque remembering the entire Windrush generation, and then Joe Harriott, a very famous British jazz musician, and then finally Alf Charles, who was Southampton Football Club's first black player. So this is just for murals at the time in the cultural quarter of Southampton, but I'm sure this will grow through the years there, so do stop by here too to see this. Next up, shortly after walking through the cultural quarter just past the Marlin shopping centre, we have another newish mural about a local band called Ebony Rockers. So they formed in the 70s just as a few teenagers from the Nicholson and Newtown areas of Southampton. This was a really turbulent time, I'd want to say, for young black people. There weren't a lot of local role models to look up to, but they did successfully carve themselves out a name in the music scene. They got recognised with, I believe, a competition and a record label too, and it was one member's son. So a George David, who this might have particularly rubbed off on, and that was Craig David, who has now made, of course, quite a big scene himself there from the mural that we saw earlier there in the music world too. Shortly after paying the Marlins a visit, we've now just had to walk through the West Quay shopping centre to get to their car park, where they've got The World Is Yours mural, which again I think was released last year. We're now looking at a very important building which we will get to in just a moment, but first of all we need to walk through this little footbridge and then go into the car park, because on this level 7B, there's a number of different murals inspired by local black history. So we start with Jacques Francis. This is a diver in Southampton Tudor times. Followed by that, we then have Muhammad Ali, who visited the Hedge End part of Southampton in 1971. Following that, we then have a mural which doesn't have a sign at the front because it's on the back with this one, and this is about local street parties that happened in Durban Road in the 1970s. So that was shebeens and blues parties that were quite well known. We have the Ebony Rockers again, as we were talking about a moment ago too. Just look at how great the detail is in these murals. It is amazing. And then we have Craig David as well, a Southampton legend, as it says. Absolute fantastic work that's been going into all of these for such an important cause too. And here we have Alf Charles being remembered again. They did so much good work in the logo too on that. That's absolutely amazing for the football club. And next we have May Street's kid. This is a really important person because, yeah, they were a doctor based in Netley during the Second World War, but they were also a huge political advocate as well in America, which was really interesting to read about. We then have Louis Armstrong, a jazz musician who performed in Southampton. As well as that, we also have Bob Marley too, who played in Southampton as well. Next up, we have Steve Gum, a youth worker as well in the city. And then last but not least, we have Rosie Purves, a nurse who fought racism within the NHS. We're just leaving West Quay car park, and really we need to do a video about the entire car park. There is murals and artwork everywhere there now, but we do need to leave that car park because we have the next place to go to, which again is a hugely important building for the city. It really does make us renowned over the entire country for sustainability. So we're just going to have a short walk over to that building, and then we'll take a look to see why it's so important. So, this building, my favourite building in Southampton, and it does have a mural, so it is relevant in this video, is Southampton Geothermal, the Southampton District Energy Scheme as it's called. So this was started in 1986 when the Department for Energy initially did abandon the idea of geothermal energy. However, Southampton City Council took it upon themselves to create the country's first ever geothermal power plants. So this building has again been in operation since 1986, as a lovely mural on the side of it, as you can see, and it helps to create energy but also provide hot water and cold water to a number of different buildings in the city, including hospitals and central offices. It's hugely important. It is also ever expanding, really. It did expand in some biomass energy production as well, and again being the first ever geothermal energy power scheme in the country, the whole of the UK, is something that we should be immensely proud of in Southampton. If you made it to this part of the video, it means you're halfway through watching. Thank you for supporting me, and I just thought I'd go over some of the inspiration for this video today. And one person who is a huge inspiration for me and the interests that I have about my local city, Southampton and Hampshire, is Martin Brisland. He's written this fantastic book that I've owned for the past year called Secret Southampton, and it goes through loads of different quirky things about the city, how different parks have been made, public buildings, street art, facades. It talks about things such as the Golden Tooth in Bedford Place that we talk about in this video, as well as Speaker's Corner. It's been a huge part of my research for this video, and again, it's something that I've had a personal interest for a few years now, and yeah, it's been great to just incorporate this into my life, to be able to keep on practicing making videos and also get a bit of exercise in. I've walked about 8,000 steps so far today. Yesterday I went on a 13k run, and I'm about to do some weightlifting as well after this video. Since my first video and when I tried going back to park run, I was 16 stone then. Now I'm just getting under 13 stone. I'm into the 12 stone somethings now, and going on walks as well as running and weightlifting has been a huge part of that. So again, it's all to help stay in shape. It's about getting interest as well. If you're not from Southampton, I hope I've told you some things that maybe you'd consider visiting Southampton just to look at, and do let me know some stuff in your local area as well, whether it's in the UK or it's in any other country. Tell me some little facts about your city, some little places of interest, and I might just pay a visit for a video one day. Thank you, and back to the show. Following a visit to the Geothermal energy scheme, I decided to go the long way to the next piece I wanted to look at. First, going past the Southampton mural, which we covered in a previous video, I wanted to take a look at the Dolphin Hotel, because this is going to be converted into student accommodation soon, and it could possibly be where a meeting for the longest running transgender organisation, the Beamont Society, was held. We're not sure for definite which hotel it was, but it might have been the Dolphin Hotel. And in this same road too, just going to the next art piece I wanted to look at, there is Holyrood Church. So this is a church that was bombed out during the Blitz as well, and now has a fountain in memory of the Titanic and the lives lost there, and also a memorial for the merchant navy and the lives lost with them too during the Great War and also World War II. So do check these out if you ever get the chance. Next up, one other building that I did want to have captured on video is the old Debenhams Building. So this has been shut since Debenhams was taken over by Boohoo, so I'm pretty sure that was about a decade ago now this was shut. I do remember about, I think it was during COVID, there was a local trans group that talked about breaking into the building to set up a commune to help homeless trans people, and then shortly after signs showed up saying that there were dogs and security 24 hours, so that wasn't happening. And then just behind Debenhams is Speaker's Corner in Hoglands Park. So interestingly, when Above Bar Street was pedestrianised in the 70s, a lot of organisations started shouting, hollering out there, and it did lead to a few arrests because legally it is still a highway even though it's pedestrianised. So to try and circumnavigate that issue, they created a Speaker's Corner in the 70s to direct groups to talk at from there instead of Above Bar Street. I continue walking through Hoglands Park, just taking a look at all the graffiti on the skate park, which is really cool. And there's a lovely little green building too in this park that I love. There used to be two of them where sports would be played inside, but I think they've been shut down now for decades really, and one of them was demolished as well. I then go through Harrison's Cut, which has some lovely graffiti down it, just to go to the last building that I wanted to talk about next. This building in question I wanted to talk about is the Joiners. So this is a former pub that started having live acts in 1968. It's got a lovely lineup of all the acts that have performed before. Let me know in the comments all the ones that you recognise. And yeah, it's a beautiful little building as well. And then the final mural / bit of street art that I wanted to talk about is this lovely piece. I remember seeing this one since I was a child, so it's at least 20 years old or more. I wasn't able to find anything out about the artist or its meaning, but again, I think it is a beautiful work. It has everything that you want in a mural. It's got humour, about the community as well, and yeah, I think it's completely great. Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video where we talked about historic buildings in Southampton, theatres, of course graffiti and murals as we said, and just loads of different treasure troves that we do have in the city. Please do like, comment and subscribe. Do talk about in the comments your favourite part of this video, your favourite building or relic, and yeah, feel free to share this to anyone that you know will enjoy this video, and let me know too what you want me to cover next time. We really have just scratched the surface of what is available, but just let me know if you want to see more and we'll do some more videos like this one. Thank you.